Wave troubleshooters John Bowl, Natalia Martinez, and Mark Stevens take you behind the investigation on Wave Now.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Wave Troubleshooters Behind the Investigation. Along with Natalia Martinez, I'm John Ball. We're going to take a look this week at one of Natalia's investigations here on one of the more divisive mysteries we've had in our midst here. What happened to Tanisha Chappell in the Jackson County Jail?
No one knows still officially. Well, someone knows what happened, but so far this woman, this happened inside of the Jackson County Jail in Indiana, where this 23-year-old mom, she gets arrested, she stolen some things, police thought. She takes police on a chase, and she gets arrested, and she ends up at the Jackson County Jail. And when I first heard about this case, it was this woman was ill. She was calling for help. No one came, and then she died. And I started gathering the records from the EMS, the ambulance that came to transport her, and then whatever other records I could find. I worked with her family's attorney to try to gather some of the stuff. And when the video came out, everything that I thought of the story, which sounded pretty bad, when the video came out, it was even worse.
Now, what's interesting about this story is normally when you have a death in the jail, it may take weeks, maybe a month, but you get some answers after the autopsy. And this languished for a long time before you got your hands on the video. And they came back with a verdict that I thought was peculiar of a poisoning, possibly by cleaning products.
Right. Even so, this girl is at the jail for hours and hours saying that she feels sick. Finally, they do call EMS. They handcuff her in the ambulance and take her to the hospital. And there, from then on, I mean, it was only a matter of hours before she was dead. And the doctors make note to particularly check during the autopsy for toxicity, and they even mention, certain chemicals that are found in cleaning supplies.
Right.
Ethylene glycol. They put it on the document, but we don't know still today whether that ever even happened. I don't think that during the autopsy that was even checked for. And there's a lot of questions about the investigation that took place to try to find out why she died. We're still in limbo there. But I'm going to play for you the story of when we got the video. You'll hear from her family. And then you'll also hear from the corrections officers inside of the jail. This is one of the most disturbing parts about this story. This woman, let me paint the picture here if you're not watching, obviously you're listening. 23-year-old woman, she's naked by herself inside of a cell. You see her wandering about. She appears disoriented. She, at times, is barely able to stand up. You see her in the videos trying to knock on the door, but not having the strength to do so. At times, she's lying in her own waste. There's a portion in the video that also shows when she stumbles and hits her head on the metal edge of the bed. That's something that the jail later denied ever happened. And after you listen to this podcast, if you want to come watch the video, we'll have it for you so that you could see the moment that she bangs her. You can hear it. How can you deny that it happened? I mean, this story's unbelievable, how this girl was just left to die. That's what happened.
And no one responded. So we're going to get a flavor for that right now?
Yep, here's the story. These videos were released only through a subpoena because the county denied every other request. Chappell's mother said that she wanted to reach through the TV and help her daughter, and she can't understand why no one had the humanity to do so while watching her daughter suffer.
The video is hard to watch. 23-year-old Tanisha Chappell begging for help inside the Jackson County Jail. While the video now sheds light on the last moments of her life, the question remains, why did she die?
I didn't even give her a chance. She was only 23.
Chappell is in pain for 24 hours, vomiting, moaning, collapsing. No medicine ever given to her. Her vitals checked only once by the nurse, according to the prosecutor's records.
I watched them put on the news how they save dogs, how they save cats, how they rub on dogs, how they rub on cats. And y'all treated my baby like she wasn't nothing. Tanisha Chappell!
Her death sparked outrage, now fueled by anger after seeing what went on inside her cell.
Last chance, either you get up and get a bit dressed and come on out and talk to me, or I'm just going to go back doing my thing.
Chappell hits her head on the metal bed. She's covered in her own waste. She collapses several times, too weak to bang on the doors. This guard still thought it was a sham.
This is just making us think that you're faking it. So if you're not going to get up and get dressed, we're going to leave you alone. And you can sit there and just suffer.
And I had to watch her by herself. She looked so lonely.
Chappell was pronounced dead 1 hour later. No traces of hard drugs, but unknown toxic substances were found in her system. Her official cause of death? Undetermined. The state's investigation now officially closed by the Jackson County prosecutor, Jeffrey Chalfant. He wrote, no crimes were committed by inmates or employees of the Jackson County Jail related to the death of Tanisha Chappell. The letter starts with 4.5 pages of Chappell's charges, which the same prosecutor, now tasked with looking into her death, had gone after then.
Don't try to make an example just out of my sister. Make it out of them too. Because I guarantee you, if they press them charges on them, people may want to start doing their job right.
The doctors suspected cleaning supplies, but the prosecutor said Indiana State Police could not find a lab to conduct those tests, leaving this family still wondering why.
And every day we wake up, it's empty. It's empty.
The only hope the family has now is that the feds will investigate why Chappell died. Was there a cover-up? And were her civil rights violated by the people that were supposed to keep her safe? The FBI has said nothing about this case, has not even called the family back. So I reached out to the Department of Justice today, and I'm waiting for their answer. Natalia Martinez, Wave 3 News.
Okay, so where are we now then? That report was filed end of December, right?
Same
Months
place.
have gone by.
Same place. I do know for a fact that the FBI is looking at the case. But here's something about the FBI. They can review a case without actually opening one.
Right.
So, and it depends on whether the U.S. Attorney's Office wants to prosecute. So in the meantime, this case has been reviewed, and to what extent, I don't even know. I do know that they do have some of the information. They do have this video. They do have some of the medical records. They do have that. But, you know, I mean, the FBI moves slowly. However, I don't know the extent of which they are considering civil rights violations in Chappell's case.
Aside from the civil rights violations and the way she was treated and how that languished for hours with her begging to get help, I'm most drawn in by the inconclusiveness of it. We almost always have some kind of an answer. So as we sit here still, the answer is undetermined.
Undetermined.
She had some toxic chemicals in her. Are they trying to suggest that she tried to kill herself by drinking some cleaning fluid or something?
Maybe. Here's the problem, okay? And this is something that it's not just in Jackson County. We see this all over the country, really. But we've got Jackson County officials at the jail with the Jackson County sheriff, the Jackson County prosecutor, the Jackson County medical examiner, everything contained within. You tell me if there's not a relationship there. Matter of fact, I have a picture of some of the officials named in here posting together on Facebook. So how can you tell me that you can't find a lab to test her blood or to test her the chemicals or the liquids that were found inside of that jail, to test her Mountain Dew bottle, to find ethylene glycol, which the doctor mentioned by name right after she died.
Right.
It's just all very suspicious, and it just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Watching her, how can you, and then the guard to come in and say, you're just going to sit there and suffer. Well, I'm going to play for you another clip here, which we got after the story with the video. This recording is of the corrections officer answering to her calls for help, okay? So this came after, but let me play that for you.
To the hospital.
The new calls released by her family's attorney begin at 8:34 p.m. July 15th. That's roughly 20 hours before she died.
I'm throwing up blood. You're throwing up blood?
Yes, I left it in the chart so you can see. This is my second time. I overlooked it today. The first time, but it's happening again.
Chappell would call 11 more times.
I need one of the cars to come back here, please. Please. Need help.
What do you need help with?
My stomach.
What?
My stomach.
What?
My stomach.
With your what? Your stomach?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do unless you're coughing up something crazy.
Chappell spent the night throwing up, was told the nurse would see her in the morning. This call at 9:55 a.m. Other inmates called too.
If she needs something, she'll have to hit the button.
This last call she makes, asking for a bit of empathy.
Please grab my
Wow.
hand.
Yeah.
It just gives you chills to hear her crying.
20 hours from the
20
first call for
hours.
help till she died.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, where do we go from here? It doesn't sound like we're going anywhere unless the feds get involved.
Unless the feds get involved, we have to wait. Of course, there's a civil lawsuit, but what we're talking about here isn't a lawsuit. We're talking about accountability. And those people inside the jail that should have called for medical help a lot sooner than they did, this girl would be alive. The notion that she may have killed herself, I think all you have to do is listen to her. Had she taken something purposely, wouldn't she say, shoot, I changed my mind, this is what I took, please help me?
Right.
She never says that.
Right.
And so there's many questions. And then also, why? How did she get a hold? If, let's say there were cleaning supplies, right? How did she get a hold of them? Because according to law, jails aren't supposed to have those types of chemicals. The chemicals they're supposed to have are non-toxic for this specific reason. But somehow those chemicals were there. Why?
Right.
U.S. Department of Justice, we want to know why. We want to take a look at the investigation into her death. Why were not all of the materials tested to see what kind of substances were in the liquids that were accessible to her? Why?
It's just crazy. And it's not for lack of pressure put on them, too. This has gotten a lot of notoriety.
It is,
and
but
protest.
It has, but it's been in waves. And I think that there is a sentiment that it's Indiana, we're in Jackson County, and you're not going to tell us what to do.
Okay. Okay, well, Natalia will stay on it. Obviously, it is just bizarre that we've gone this long without anything close to a concrete answer on
We'll
anything.
get them.
Well,
sooner or later,
we'll
the
keep
videos
digging.
come out, the calls come out. We'll get them.
All right, we will. We'll stay tuned to Wave 3 for more of our troubleshooter reports, and Natalia will stay on that case as well. For Natalia Martinez, I'm John Bolt. Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Wave Troubleshooters Behind the Investigation. Have a great day.